What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mr. Straight Fact Show. I am Mr. Straight Fact. Hopefully, you guys had a good day today with everything else going on besides the news. But just to cover some things, we're going to start off talking about something that I recognize today. Today, I was listening to a representative, a Democrat, actually, also a Republican who was talking to him, and an old school Republican, not MAGA. And the question was, what does the Democrats have to do? And they went on talking about the same talking points that Democrats always talk about. And I don't know about you guys, but it's getting old to me that they say the same things. These kitchen table topics, issues that they talk about, which are important, but they think just saying kitchen table topics or kitchen table issues is enough. Well, we all sit at the kitchen table or wherever we gather as a family, as the adults, and try and figure out bills, insurance, how to take care of grandma, how to get the kids off to school, how to, keep, if we have Medicare, Medicaid, or whatever insurance, to get the kids off to the dentist. I understand we do that, right? But our government, when they talk to us about these things, they're talking in generals, and we don't really have an understanding of what they're going to do. Saying the same things after decades upon decades of not curing said things, or at least not making those things better, or even more, having Democrats who don't agree on basic stuff. It's like, I'm tired of Democrats right now, 1,500 directions they're running. I mean, how hard could it be that most Americans want their health care taken care of, right? They want to lower cost, right? The rich people always want tax cuts without paying their fair share, right? They want deregulations on everything so they can just kill Americans by putting everything into the air that's going to destroy not only the earth but the people on it, just so they can make a buck now and buy a yacht. They can't think past their pocketbooks or their bank accounts. They don't even think about their children, other than the fact that I want my kids to be rich. And so when Democrats and even Republicans come up with their plans, they're empty plans, yo. What are you actually going to do? You can't even get your people to agree. See, the thing about Republicans, they get their people to agree on even evil shit. The things that Republicans are doing now, MAGA, are straight out of the devil's playbook. And those people, Republicans, back it up. It's scary how they back up evil stuff while looking in your face and saying, we're doing right by the people. How? You saw a video I had earlier today. It was on Medicare or Medicaid. And it focuses on the idea that with Medicaid, our people, and when I say our people, I'm not on Medicaid, but American citizens are on it, and rightfully so. And we got evil people in the Republican Party that rather have a tax cut than a 4-year-old child to get care. Would rather have a tax cut than to be able to have Medicaid continue the way it is and be able to say, you know what? We're smart enough to realize we can check with each system, the fail-safes we have now, hire more people to catch any kind of fraud that's going through. The plan is not to fix Medicaid, it's to get rid of it. Because think about it, it's easy to fix something when you know there's a problem with it. In order for you to really want to fix it, you got to know, well, here's the loopholes. These are the problems that are happening. And they do know this, people. They just don't tell anybody else about it. You have to go and dig into it. In our Medicaid system, they're talking about they're trying to cut $880 billion. Do you know they do a study every year, or not even necessarily a study, an audit, so to speak, of each of these programs every year or every few years to find out where there may be fraud or even a miscalculation on things. And when they do it, or the last time they did it, they found that in Medicaid there's $31.1 billion that they believe is not fraud, it's miscalculations. They may have given somebody more than what they actually deserved or less based upon their calculations and their system that they have. But they find very, very, very little fraud. And here it is. Republicans are out here telling people, oh, there's $880 billion worth of fraud. No. They last checked $31.1 billion where they spent where it wasn't really accounted for, and they had to go back and do an audit and find out what was going on. But that's 31 billion, not 880. So you got to look at, there is 850 billion that has nothing to do with miscalculations. These fools are trying to take $850 billion out of the system, which means millions upon millions of people will die or get very sick and get harmed. Why? At least they'll be off insurance, which puts them in a situation that you needed it to begin with. Many of these people, military, many of these people are in rural areas, in the South and in red states even. And these people have no qualms with taking it away. All for what? All for what? They're trying to figure out how they can give their rich people their money back for spending all this money to get Trump in office. Playing the stock market like it's a slot machine in Vegas. Donald Trump don't know what's going on. It's the people behind the scene that are doing this. Donald Trump hasn't a freaking clue what he's doing. He knows he's making them rich because remember he asked him, give me $1 billion during this campaign to help me win. I'll give you whatever you want. And this is exactly what they wanted. We have been watching in the media the Republican Party trying its damnedest to destroy democracy. There's no other way to describe it. They want to get rid of judges for judging against them. And they realize that they got a leader that would allow them to do the dirt they've always wanted to do because he has no clue what they're doing. They're telling him what is going on, and he's not listening. The presidential daily briefings, not reading them, not listening to them. So he has no clue what's going on in this country. The people he's hired are doing their job, and he hired a bunch of nincompoops. These people don't even know what they're doing. They don't have a leader, and they're not of leadership quality themselves. The people who stay behind and haven't gotten fired, they're the strongest thread that's keeping this country afloat. There's so much weight on that man and woman inside the White House and all of the administrations, whether the departments. It is them that's keeping this thing together. They're keeping it afloat. The leaders are clueless that Donald Trump put in. They don't know what they're doing. It's painfully, like in the atmosphere. You can see it every day. They're coming out not knowing what terms are, not knowing what they're doing, Trump not knowing what's going on in the country, people not knowing how to get to him to educate him on what's going on to keep us safe. So much so that they have to go get a Fox reporter to play it out for them. I mean, there's just so much crap going on day to day. And they ask Americans, the Democrats, they pretty much ask us, or even not even ask us, they tell us, like, this is what we think you care about. Why don't you ask the people what they care about? They're always saying kitchen table topics. Of course, that is just the norm. But what are the actual solutions, Democrats? Republicans never have solutions. That's the part that these people get so riled up about. Republicans can get their people to follow them with hatred, with division, and by saying, you know, liberal this, liberal that. They go to the opposite side of wanting to be a liberal and listen to whatever anybody who says they're not a liberal so they can own liberals. And they don't care about their day-to-day life like we do. They don't even know that these things are going to affect them. They got them so in a tizzy about race and separatism and, you know, anti-gay and trans. They're so caught up in that, they have no idea the things that they're trying to pass is going to destroy them. And it's sad that us who have a modicum of intellect have to keep fighting for people who just won't fight for themselves. I mean, part of me just wishes that we, the good people, could literally buy and invest in us and let them just die out. Don't buy shit from them. Don't sell them shit. Just let them try to make it on their own. Because it is just downright disrespectful for them to sit around and act like we're supposed to fight all the time for all of our rights while they just give them away and bitch and moan when they realize they fucked up. It happens cyclical. It keeps going and going and going and going nonstop, fucking themselves over, and keep begging the people with common sense to fix it. Maybe you should listen to us before you fuck it up. Maybe you should get out of your feelings and deal with the facts before you make your decisions. Republicans know you guys. That's why they say they love the uneducated, because they know you will not do your homework. You are homework resistant. It repels you to want to do homework. You can hear them in any of these debate platforms where you see somebody debating a MAGA. They are like allergic, if not deathly ill, once you throw a fact at them. That's not true. It is. Look it up. You can hear them typing and shit. And then also when they find it, they disappear. How did you have so much like bravado, so much, you thought you knew it? And you know in your head, you never looked that shit up. But for some reason, you thought you had all the answers. Where does that come from? Where does it come from that you talk on a topic you have done zero research on, as if 10 toes down on it, as if you know what the fuck you're talking about and that you deserve to be in the room when you haven't even learned the basics? Go back to the baby table and learn some shit. Just because you're 50 doesn't mean you belong at the big girl and big boy table. You got to do the homework. That's the problem. Don't want to do the homework, but you want to sit at the big boy table, big girl table. No. It gets old watching these people, even young people, educating these people on here, and then next thing you know, they're, oh, well, I didn't know that. You damn near twice as old as this young kid. How the hell you didn't know? And they don't retain it. They don't retain any of this shit. As soon as they get off, they go find their little core group of idiots and just cling back onto them. And every bit of sense they just learned flies the fuck away. It's just sad. It's just sad. It's exhausting, to be honest, to try and keep educating people who don't listen. And you want to move on, but how can you? Because if you don't keep it people aware of what's going on, the ones who may be out working a lot, don't get a chance to, and they love to learn stuff and may give them information, you're reaching some. Can't reach them all. But Democrats need to rebrand themselves. The hell with Republicans. They allowed this infestation of MAGA to just crawl into their spirits and eat them from the inside out. How the hell you don't care about your party enough that you decide to leave your party because you done let these maggots in? Instead of fighting the maggots, you just walk your happy ass out the door to separate yourself and let your country go. What kind of patriot lets its country go? Doesn't fight for it, just lets it go with the idiots. The reason why MAGA and the Republicans the Republicans can't do anything with MAGA is because they never had any guts to begin with. They don't know how to fight shit. They just know how to take shit away from people. They know how to be mean to people outside of being a Republican. They don't have the kryptonite to this shit. They're trying to figure out like, well, I believe in doing that. I believe in taking that away. I just don't believe how you guys are doing it. So they loving the fact that these things are being passed. They just don't like that the people who are doing it are ass to them. And we believe the regular Republicans were ass. These right here, I don't know what they are. They're mutant asses. One thing that I realized today was that the Republicans have branded themselves as if they give a damn about people or their pocketbooks. They've into the lives of American citizens. They say, oh, all Republicans are racist. Well, you guys are all hateful if you're going to say you're not racist, because you have no problem thinking that a person that's on Medicaid is somehow lesser than you, somehow doesn't deserve it, somehow has to work, even though they, in the old system, which you already had regulations for it. It kills me how people think that Medicaid as it is, or even Medicare when you get subsidies or whatever, Obamacare subsidized, they think for some reason you don't work hard enough. You don't deserve this. All while they pay less taxes and don't pay their fair share. They're trying to kick you guys off of Medicaid, take out $880 billion that's not even there as far as a fraud or overspending. Every year they do these audits, and it was 31 billion last time. How you get 850 additional billion? You don't. You get people to think there's overspending, and these people don't want to overspend. They think, oh, I'm going to get that money back. You're going to give it to me. It's not going to you. That's their sell to you. Their whole thing coming into this office was to cut $2 trillion from one area, 880 billion or so from that area, from meaning like healthcare, Medicaid, Medicare, Department of Education, get rid of those, defund a lot of these things that are regulators, which means that businesses that these people are out here, building things that can cause your kids cancer, or they getting rid of those regulations so they can continue to kill the people around them to make a buck. And then take away the health care that's meant to help you from being in these bad areas because they let go of the regulations to do the things that are going to fuck up the air. And these are the people that are supposed to be caring about you. They say, we're going to give you some money back and we'll help you and we're going to boost the economy. Well, I want you to understand something. Democrats, you need to put your hats on for the new label that you should start claiming. Democrats need to call themselves and market themselves because it's fucking true, but you're horrible at marketing. Democrats are the true, the one and only party that has ever been fiscally conservative. Republicans have never been fiscally conservative. Ever. They've always spent more than they ever brought in. They always increase the debt and the deficit. They've never balanced jack shit. They always create a tax cut with it not being paid for. And then be like, what happened? And then what has to happen? A Democrat has to come in and fix their fuck ups. Not take the country from here to here. We got to fix their fuck ups so that our country can let go and release and start to float, because they put it down heavy with debt. He said, well, how do they do that? They give tax cuts when they can't pay for them. 1.9 trillion in 2017 tax cuts. We didn't have 1.9 trillion dollars to give away. No, we didn't. What was their plan? Oh, we're going to put it into the economy. It's going to grow. We're going to grow at 4%. We're going to make that money back. How about you start investing in American people or something like that, and then see if it creates jobs to make things happen? You don't need to give people a tax cut for that. Use the money that's already there and reallocate it to invest in America. How about invest in America? Make the dream alive plan, where you're actually putting money in to invest in Americans, to start businesses and things and industries that can make us number one. No. Republicans always come up with, here's money. I know you need it. Like y'all a bunch of crackheads. Here you go. Put it in your vein. Put it in your vein. Come on. You need that $300. You need that $3,000. And Americans fall for that bullshit every time a Republican wants to give you money. So much when Donald Trump was running for office, how many dumbasses was looking for a stimulus check? I'm going to vote for him, going to give me a stimulus check. Do you plan on going out and giving everybody COVID again or something? Because how the fuck you going to get one? This shit made no sense to an idiot. Yet, they were dumber than an idiot. They put their vote into something that could have never, ever happened again. It took 100 years for COVID to happen again, to have a pandemic. Spanish flu, 1919, whatever it was. 2019, 100 years. And these fools thought in the next presidency, we were going to have another one so that they can get a check for some from this dipshit, this orange dipshit. It is just pitiful how people could be so stupid. I mean, a child is not that dumb. Yet these some grown-ass people out here operating buses and heavy equipment, dumb as a box of bricks when it comes to anything else outside of driving that vehicle. How you not know? How you running businesses and farms and not know that tariffs are taxes on the people? How you not know that? You knew. You were just more racist than you were smart. Ignorance is racism. So you guys relish in this ignorance of life because it offsets your stupidity so that you can get some subsidies from the government. That's our tax dollars going to give you money because you made a mistake and hired Sir Dipshit. and keep making the same mistake. You saw it last time, how he messed you guys over. And you said, can I have another? Jesus Christ. Can I have another? After you learn what he did to you before. And he didn't promise to do anything different. He promised to give you the same thing. That $1.9 trillion tax cut did not have a way to pay it off at all. But you know what? Did have? Well, no, let's go back. Let's go back away from Donald Trump, because he's the latest Republican to prove to you that there's no such thing as a Republican and a fiscally conservative person together. It's an oxymoron. It's not true. Right? Being fiscally conservative means you have a way or a means to pay for something. You don't overspend. You want government to be smaller, not bigger. You want things to be taken care of, right? So that you can make sure, okay, we're going to do this, then we got to be fiscally conservative. We got to figure out how that money is going to actually come about. If we want to increase the economy, we got to figure out a plan that does so. That is fiscally conservative. I don't know what the fuck this country thinks fiscally conservative means. I think people have gotten the idea that just the word Republican equals fiscally conservative. It doesn't. It never has. And it never will be that way. Why? Because they've never done it. They've just attached that label to Republicans and Democrats. It's a fucking shame. Democrat leaders, that you haven't went out there and say, you know what? Prove to me you're fiscally conservative. Everything we do, we pay for. Healthcare, we paid for. You tried to do it for over 50 years. You couldn't do it. We did it. We had it paid for before we passed it. Bill Clinton balanced the budget, right? Had a surplus. How the hell that happened? Boy, I got some information for y'all that's gonna make some of y'all pissed. Gonna be, some of y'all proud to be a Democrat. But we got some little information. Let's go back to Ronald Reagan. They always want to talk about Ronald Reagan. Do you know Ronald Reagan is one of these people who really is kind of like, they give the father of this, trickle down economics crap. Always saying I'm a Reagan Republican. You need to run as quick as you can from anybody who claims to be a Reagan Republican. I mean, sprint the hell as fast as you can away from them. That's like the devil reincarnated. I said it. Why do I say this? Do you know that Ronald Reagan gave massive tax cuts in the 1980s? What did you think that did? Because they didn't pay for it. They had no way of paying for it. They just wanted to give people money, and then people got excited that they got money. And just like one of the ex-presidents said, you give people, and he's talking about race, but this is the same thing with money. You give people a reason to believe you care about them, and if you put money in their pockets, these fools will do anything. They'll turn tricks for you. They literally pimped out America by saying, here you go. Here's a $500 check. Here's an $800 check. Because they wanted money back. But they didn't tell you that there wasn't no money in the till. They had to borrow that money from another country so they can give it to you, so they can give it to themselves, so they can invest and create wealth off the backs of another country. You know that saying, don't use your own money to invest, use other people's money? That's what Republicans do. They go out and borrow trillions of dollars from other people, then try to give a tax cut instead of putting that shit into the economy and letting it grow the way it should in the government and to take care of bills and pay down debt. No, they give it to themselves in the form of tax cuts. And then they put it out there and they go out and buy yachts and shit with it, telling you, the American citizen, when you get your 500 or wherever you at economically, 5,000 for your 2 kids or whatever, you're excited about that shit. But it is a fool's errand to want that money because it's not paid for. It's like going out and getting a credit card for $50,000, and then all of a sudden you see $50,000 in your bank. Like, wow, that's crazy. I got $50,000. I should just go ahead and spend it. You owe it back, fool. What you spending it for? You ain't got no money to pay that back. That's exactly what this country is doing. You can't be fiscally conservative and reaching into a bank account where you borrowed money and then give it to everybody. How you paying it back? They don't. They wait for a fiscally conservative Democrat to come into office and fix their fuck ups. Democrats fix it up. Republicans fuck it up. Don't believe me? Go look at history. Reagan fucked it up. How can you call yourself a Reagan Republican? This man gave so many tax cuts that he tripled. You didn't hear me. Tripled our national debt. Let's multiply that bitch by 3. I thought it was supposed to pay for itself. Well, that means we should have paid down the deficit, right? There's a difference between the national debt and the deficit. Deficit is like our budget spending, correct? So in that situation, I don't know exact numbers. Let's say we were spending, we were bringing in like I'm going to say 4, but say 3 trillion from our tax dollars and like that. And then when we had to do stuff, oh, wait a minute, times 3. That's $9 trillion out of somewhere. We're like, where the fuck? Why we in debt? 9 trillion? Our budget's 9 trillion now. The hell? I thought we were supposed to pay for this. It wasn't until Bill Clinton got in office that he fixed the fuck up in which Reagan fucked up. But they want to be Reagan conservative, Reagan like Republicans. That party just wants you to give them free shit and call it tax cuts. It's a bunch of freeloaders. Republicans are freeloaders. They want money and no way to pay it back. And then they have the gall to not want to pay their fair share in fucking taxes after taking more than their fair share. Borrowing money from the government that they don't have to pay back. Getting subsidies and getting all these like investments from the government saying they're going to create all these jobs that they never create. At least not in the numbers in which they said they were going to create. Oh, we'll create 10,000 jobs. Oh, I know I only got 500 jobs, but at least I got 500. And our government's like, oh, okay, you don't owe us the $100 million back. They didn't meet the requirements. Oh, we don't believe in regulations. That's why the Republicans come in office, cut regulations. Democrats have to come in office, fix shit up. Then they get the American people. Look, Democrats are always throwing in regulations. They're always trying to regulate you. They're always trying to take stuff away from you. All they're saying is that we fixed it so that we could steal from y'all, and they're making it so that we can't. But they get idiot people believing, hey, Democrats are taking something away from you. No, they're not. They're fixing something so that down the road, your kids won't owe $700 quadrillion. Go look it up, please. Every time a Republican's in office, they fuck up our economy. Every time. Reagan fucked it up. Tripled our national debt. And this wasn't even a deficit. This is the debt. My bad. This was a debt, not the deficit. The debt. So he did add 3 times as much. So if we owed 3, we owed 9. He did that shit from all these tax cuts that we didn't have the money to give. Pardon me, I said deficit earlier. It's debt. Then we had George W. Bush, not his father. George W. Bush. He came in, first thing he wanted to do, tax cuts. How the hell we even have tax cut money? Think about it. We had Clinton in office who balanced everything, the deficit. And we had a surplus. A surplus, y'all. That sounds beautiful. You are good at being fiscally conservative if you can have a surplus in your account. Meaning, if I have in my account every year I spend $10,000. And by the end of the year, I got $20,000 left after I spent $10,000. That's a surplus. So that means I made money. And therefore, whether it be through adding more taxes or increase in tariffs or whatever I had to do, now we're on the plus side of things, which is awesome. Because just in case something crazy like a pandemic happens, we got a surplus of cash and they don't have to reach out to the American citizen and ask you for higher taxes. Because it's already sitting there. And if the government acted appropriately, which Donald Trump didn't, we wouldn't even have to reach into that much because we would have solved the problem before it blew the fuck up. If somebody was responsible enough to tell everybody to wear a fucking mask earlier on. But no, who am I to give you common sense? But that's the situation. George W. Bush took a surplus from Clinton, started 2 unfounded wars. There's no reason to have them. He didn't know anybody. There was no weapons of mass destruction. They were just pissed and wanted to go after somebody. Fucked up. 20-something years of a fuck up. Spent way too much money, lost too many lives, and they didn't do their homework before they went to that war. Horrible management. Just horrible. He had a Medicare expansion, which nearly took us to another depression. That shit, that's what led to all this, led to the Great Recession. Then Obama had to come in and fix that shit. And on top of that, pass the Affordable Care Act. Which, by the way, was fully paid for when it passed. And not only that, he slashed the deficit after giving a country that was falling down fast. This country was free falling because of the previous Republican. I'll never forget. It was both John McCain and Obama were on tour, so to speak, running for president. And both of them have been, educated on what our country was going through, right? They had been briefed. George W. Bush, clueless. But he was the president at the time, right? Some shit went down and Obama left his campaign, said we need to be in Washington and making some decisions on what we're going to do if we become president. Somehow, I guess John McCain people heard the same thing and they rushed back too. And then there was this big press conference sitting at a table. And they were asking them what would they do in the situation that's going on. What is your decision on how we should fix this? I'll never forget it. John McCain sat there in like shock and awe. Just blank face, not knowing what the fuck to do. And what did Obama do? Had the press conference. Stood up, act presidential. Had answers, answered questions, things he didn't know, he didn't know. He sat there and talked about a strategy, what he would do as president. He was prepared for the job. I ain't got nothing against John McCain, but he was not prepared for the job. When I saw them side by side trying to handle an issue when they weren't president, you had one who had a clear plan, clear strategy. Even if it didn't work, he was going with that. And the other one befuddled and had been a senator for decades. Had to have known more information than Obama because Obama wasn't in the Senate. He wasn't there knowing all this information that John McCain has had for over 30-year career, whatever he had. The man who had been in the position for the longest was clueless. The man on the outside knew what to do. That right there showed me, I'll never forget it, that Republicans, no matter how long they're in office, they have no fucking clue how this country works. They have no clue. They don't do the homework. That showed it. And when I see Donald Trump in office talking about Obama, he just wants to be Obama. He'll never be Obama. And all those racist people out there that just want to lift up a dumbass white man so you can feel important, let me tell you something. You still are a dumbass white person. No matter how you try and lift this dumbass up to try and make yourself feel like you're just as equal as that smart black guy, you're not. Nor will you ever be at the rate in which you travel. You try to make dumb smart. It ain't gonna happen. Amongst dumbasses, it will. And that's what this country's allowed. A bunch of dumb people put into powerful positions, trying to figure it out on, it's like bring your dumbass to work day. That's this whole administration. Bring your dumbass to work day. That's all of them, from the president down. The smart people who are already there, I could imagine the stresses they have every day trying to educate dumb people on some highly intelligent shit. It is an oxymoron that they are intelligence. They are in intelligence, and it's not something they possess. Pete Hegseth, dumbass. Pam Bondi, cockeyed dumbass. All of them, dumb. Their predecessors, they blow them out the water. If you gave them a side-by-side merit test, they would fail famously. It's just shocking how dumb people can be put in place in powerful positions, making decisions for us Americans, them not knowing what they're doing and what classifies them to be there in this country. They're white. Please tell me that if Obama was as stupid as Trump, would he ever be president? Fuck no. If Hillary was as dumb as Trump, you think she'd ever be president? Hell no. She wouldn't even be in the running. She would have never passed the get the votes and be able to go on tour. She would never run for president. She wouldn't be able to make it if she was as dumb as him. Don't get it twisted. There's no reason this man is in office other than the fact that he's white and he's racist and he's a champion for stupid people. That's it. And I don't care what Democrats are, well, I got a degree. Well, you're still a dumbass because you looked at him and you thought he was smart even though you got a degree. That takes a special type of stupid to literally think he's smart. It's sad because you see these lawyers and you see these politicians who are supposed to be like, oh, I got this degree and that degree. And I'm like, yet you're being owned by somebody who makes booger sandwiches. Yes, you know he's in his room. You know it. You know he's that stupid. Quit lying to yourself. You see how butthurt he got when they said, yeah, what'd you just say? Huh? Looking like Magilla Gorilla. What'd you just say? Yeah, it said Trump always chickens out. Taco. He was butthurt. It was like, oh, that's just not good. Oh, that's not good. You're just a nasty lady. You're just a dumbass president. And every time you try and act like you're smart, we know your secret because it's not a secret. These people try to hide it. But they know you're stupid, sir. They know it. I promise you. Tell him to spell coffee. I bet you that dude don't know how to do it. He'll spell it 3 different ways. Just terrible. That's the country we're in. Being led by a bunch of stupid people. Troy Scott talked about Judge Pirro. I mean, a total alcoholic. Um, it's sad because with Judge Pirro, even I honestly believe every case she tried, if anybody went to jail, they need to be released and retried again. Because the things she has said over the years and not connected to reality, especially when it came to Trump in the election he lost, that's scary. That somebody is so disconnected from facts. Even when it was going through the courts, she was denying the judge for the facts he was being presented. She was making shit up. And I'm like, how are you a judge? I promise you, she's one of those judges that there are some kids or somebody in prison because they paid her off to put them in jail. That's what I believe about her. Because you can't tell me somebody with that effed up amount of judgment was somebody good to judge other people's lives or innocence and guilt when she looks at Trump and sees innocence. There is no way in hell she should have ever been a judge. I wouldn't have her judge a pie contest. Not at all. And she was putting people away. At least I don't know exactly what kind of judge she was in that sense, whether she was putting people in jail or juvenile. I don't know what that particular thing is, but I believe it was she was putting people behind bars. But I just think every case she tried needs to be retried. Because there is no way she gained stupidity as an adult. She was dumb from jump. And on top of that, an alcoholic? Oh, come on. There's some poor people in jail right now that don't need to be there. And I don't know why no investigation hasn't been done about that. Somebody's rotting in jail because that person, Janine Pirro, the alcoholic dipshit, put them behind bars. I don't trust it whatsoever. But I wanted to tell y'all something about Bill Clinton. And I don't care what you believe about him, you know, what's happened to him and all stuff like that. I'm merely talking about what he did. President Bill Clinton, he balanced the budget rather, and he produced a budget surplus. Now, I'm going to give credit that he also had, and one part of this, because he did it within his 8 years, he had a Republican-led either House or Senate at one point in time. And all this happened after, the Monica Lewinsky thing, whatever happened or whatever. But in his presidency, he was the only president to do that in our lifetime. The only one. Okay, so you got to give him his credit for whatever he didn't do. You can give him that too. Give him his lashes as well as give him his credit. Now, what you might not know is that it was projected back then when he was president in like 94 or whatever it may have been, somewhere around there. Between 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, something like that. I forgot what year he ended being president at the top of the dome. But in the 90s, when he was the end of him being a president, I don't think it was 94 because we ended up, our Arsenio Hall show was over because he was on our Arsenio Hall show. So 94 was the last year of Arsenio Hall. So it had to be before 94. But anyway, it was estimated if the Republicans or whoever took office after President Clinton, which ended up being Bush, who fucked everything up. Bush had a surplus, y'all. Balanced budget. We weren't taking in no extra money. We were paying shit off. Man, had they just kept the Clinton strategy that he had, we would have paid off our debt by 2010. I ain't saying deficit. The deficit was already a surplus. Had they continued down with the economic plan that Clinton, alongside with the Republican-led House, or was it Senate? I think maybe Senate alongside them because it was Democrat before that. But it took also the Republicans. If they kept that surplus instead of just throwing it away and giving it to people as tax cuts and fucking up our economy, right? Remember, I told you if we keep money in the surplus, and you never know what may happen. It may be a pandemic that happens that we need that surplus to help us out. At least give us a head start while we figure out ways to pay to raise more money, right? If it'll be taxes or whatever it is, right? No, these fools gave it away. Put us in a situation where we didn't have a surplus anymore. We started to have a deficit again. And lo and behold, boom, we have a war. 9/11 happened, 2001, boom. The money we don't gave away through one or two tax cuts. We don't have a surplus. We have a deficit now. Now we got a 20-year war on our hands. We didn't know it was 20 years at the time. But these fools decided to go to war when we didn't have no money. We had a surplus, but they gave it back to people to go and fuck off. This is the fiscally conservative party. My ass. They ended up spending the money, then going into a war when we didn't have the money to go into, then went into a second war because we didn't find weapons of mass destruction in the area in which the war should have never been to begin with. We go to this place, we have a war there. Next 20 years, we are in debt to a way above our heads, sky level debt. And these fools want to keep on giving tax cuts. The tax cuts is the reason why our deficit and our debt sky to fucking high. And they keep doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. It's pure insanity. It's just insane, y'all. How do you do that? You can't care about the American people if you're not teaching them how to be fiscally conservative, but telling them what you're doing is fiscally conservative. And Democrats sitting here, leadership, allowing them to claim a title they have never earned. If you want to give the Republicans, a title outside of being like, you want to call them, let's say you're saying they're fiscally conservative. That's not true. Let's see if we can give them a different title. Something like, instead of like drug dealers, call them debt dealers. Maybe that's one of them. I'm trying to come up with a name because these people act like they're for the country and they're trying their best to pay for stuff and make sure no, they never pay for anything. They always cause more debt. They never pay their bills. They see money and they want to spend it. They're the biggest gamblers on the freaking planet. They want this money so they can go gamble it away and don't have any responsibility to pay it back. That's what they do every time. I don't understand how America doesn't see this shit. And I don't understand how Democrats don't point it out. These people play with debt like a pyrotechnic plays with matches. They keep blowing shit the fuck up. And we keep on, in this country, calling them, oh, I'm fiscally conservative. Shut the fuck up. No, you're not. Republicans, take those words out your mouths. Ain't nothing about you fiscally conservative. Maybe in your home, but not as far as, if you treat your home like you treat the government, you broke. You just look rich. Because there's no way in hell you taking money, a surplus, and spending it all instead of keeping it in there and finding out a way to turn that money into something else, an increase. You could have took that money and invested it into American people, small businesses or whatever, and got a return on it. And then our money would have grew. And we probably could have got out of debt before 2010. But no. They effed up our economy. Every time they get into office, they F it up. They F it up. They F it up. And once they get out, they blame Democrats and call them liberal. They keep spending and spending and spending and never have a way to pay for it. They're talking about themselves. And Democrats are so highbrow, they're like, nobody's going to believe what you're saying. Yes, they will, because they don't read. They don't do any homework. They don't look at stats. And they got a propaganda wing in Fox that has more followers and more readers or more viewers than other stations combined. They have a grasp on stupidity in this country. And these people can't decipher from their feelings what a fact is. So, Democrats, you got a lot on your hands to fix. And I don't believe you're going to be able to fix it because you don't have the wherewithal to label these assholes who they really are. You keep on trying to be, buddy. Let's come together and make a decision together. They ain't trying to have no decision with you. Just you standing next to them makes them feel stupid, inferior. So the way they have to be superior is to dog you because you're too smart for them. They can't match you toe for intellect. They got to literally try to cut you down every time you're around. And you haven't figured this out yet. They don't care about you. Look what they did to their own party. You think they give a shit about you? Come on, man. Be realistic, Democrats. Come out swinging. Take their label away from them. They are not fiscally conservative. Tell America, make a commercial, what fiscally conservative actually means and how Republicans never match up. It may be something that attaches to them via ad campaigns. But when it comes to implication into society, it has never worked. Their economic plan is not fiscally conservative. The strategies in which they put in place aren't fiscally conservative. Their tax cuts are not fiscally conservative. They're never paid for, and they blow up the deficit and the debt. How is that fiscally conservative? Keep calling them out on their shit. Democrats, you have a winning record. You just have piss poor marketing skills. I don't know why. Seeing as how you got enough money to hire the best damn marketers in the fucking world, you sit around and try to do it yourself. You suck at it. Find somebody else. Find the Lincoln Project. See if they got any work going on so they can help you out. Hire them because you suck at it. I mean, majorly. It's crazy, y'all. Tearing the country apart and calling themselves fiscally conservative. When you get wonky, and with Republicans and Democrats that tell you when you get too far into the weeds of being wonky with programs and things like that, you lose people. And that's true. But we have to learn. We really do have to learn. Democrats, you have to learn how not to speak to stupid people. Because I don't believe everybody who doesn't believe in politics and shit like that is stupid. We just don't understand your lingo. You need to speak regular folk talk. You coming out with wonky and you coming out with kitchen table topics. You coming out with all these descriptions of things that the average person knows what you're talking about. Donald Trump, like he said, he loves the poorly educated. He comes out and tells you, they're taking this away from me. I'm going to give it to you back. I'm going to give it back to you. That's all they needed. Tell the American people how much debt Republicans have put up and how much debt the Democrats have put up. Tell the people how much how much is actually paid for anything when Republicans pass it and how much is paid for when Democrats pass it. If you say all the time that Democrats put something out, or at least the majority of the time they put it out, it's paid for by raising taxes, by doing, you figure out a way when it comes with the CBO, and they're like, oh yeah, this will do what it says it'll do. Every time Republicans come out with shit, the CBO is like, this shit's gonna fuck us up. There ain't really been a time they put something out like, that'll work for America. No, every time. And what do? CBO is just so, they're so slanted against us. They just don't like us. They don't want us to have money. They want us to be poor. They want all that. And these idiots fall for that. Poor. I don't want to be poor. So you guys have to get it to a point where Republicans are making you poor. The reason why you are poor, the poor white Americans, the poor black Americans, is due to Republicans. This country's in debt massively in the trillions because of Republicans. Don't believe me? Here are the stats. Simple as that. Keep drilling that, drilling it, and drilling it, showing how you've created, they have destroyed. You see, the people who have done the most for this country and have pulled off some of the most incredible things, they're mostly Democrats. And what do Republicans do? Demonize the people who have done well for us. Bill Clinton has done more for this country than most Republican people have ever done in the history of this country, meaning in the sense of us economically. He's the only one that balanced the budget and had a surplus. And he wasn't given a great economy when he got it. Republicans and Democrats are always given a crappy economy by the previous Republican president. Always. Democrats always leave it better than they got it. They always fuck it up more. And they come with good economy, trash it. This should tell you their strategies don't work. They come in with a booming economy, talking shit about the economy. We can do so much better. We can do so much better. And as soon as they come in, then they blame the other person. It's his fault that we're crashing. We're crashing. It's their fault. And on the way down, they're making a play. It's their fault. I've only been here 6 weeks. It's their fault. Really? You mean tell me those 145% tariffs didn't cause the economy to have a fucking shock, a heart attack, or a stroke? That wasn't it. It was just Biden was too old and feeble. You know, they talk about it, and who was this? What's his name? Jake Tapper come out and he had to apologize to Megan, whatever her name is, saying, I said that he was. I want you to understand something. Our economy was way better under a man that they act like he was so well fucked up that he couldn't even remember his name and he couldn't do this. Guess what? He put great people in place because our economy was picked up. I'd rather have an invalid that hired a stellar team than a dumbass with healthy people around him that are still stupid. This dude sat down and wrote a book about a man being sick in the office. Do you know how many people were sick in office? We had presidents that were in wheelchairs. Reagan was pissing himself. He had Alzheimer's. This man didn't know his ass from a hole in the ground and still being a president. And they praise him. It's just insane how these Republicans literally get out here and lie in your face. And Democrats have more integrity. They can't do that. It's not in their spirit to go out there and lie to the people so much because they think there's going to be some consequences and repercussions for that. So they ain't willing to do that. Republicans don't believe in consequences and repercussions. They'll go out there and lie to your face, steal from you, rape you, beat you, and then turn around and be like, what'd I do? I didn't do it. Was the DNA right here? Oh, ain't my DNA. Well, who else is it? It matches you. I don't know. Must be some kind of clone or something. Must be AI. Caught dead to rights in a lie. They'll still look you in your eye and lie some more. That's a Republican. How can you claim Republican? Never being fiscally conservative, clinging on some shit you never had, but act like you're better than everybody else when it comes to finances. Most Republicans who are rich, how do you think they got it? From robbing the government. Most of these millionaires and billionaires got their money in a time and era. If it's old money from mom and dad or whatever it may be, or grandpa, got their money by building things and creating things and getting subsidies from governments to increase their wealth. How do you think Elon Musk increased his wealth? Government contracts. It wasn't like this dude was the master salesman of the year. Government contracts got him where he's at. How do you think Donald Trump's getting what he's doing? He's getting government contracts as well, getting subsidies to build buildings and create jobs, loaning him in money, our tax dollars. All of these investors was getting that, saying their property's worth this. Then when it's time to pay the taxes, oh, my property's worth only $10,000. Next year, $300 million. How the hell is something worth that much that different? And how can you go 20 and 30 years doing that without the government realizing it? When we, as a regular American citizen, let you say you gave $800 to your church. They'd be like, or let's say $1,000 to your church. They'd be like, wait a minute, you can't write down $1,000. The cap is at $800. That's all you can claim, or whatever it is, $500. They will call your ass up in a heartbeat after you fill your taxes and send you a piece of paper saying, well, we took the 500. Yeah, the 800 you put, whatever. The max is 5. So we recalculated. Yeah, you're going to get about $750 less than what you actually thought, and give you your check with $750 out of it. They can do that to you. But for 20 years, can't see that this fool was saying that his business was worth so many million when taxes came. But then he was filling out his other shit saying it was worth 300 or whatever million. Come on. Can't tell me you didn't know that shit. They did know it. They can know my tax situation. They damn sure know his. It's a damn shame. There's too many people getting away with stuff in our government. Too many. And Americans have got to say enough is enough at some point. Donald Trump has lied. His minions have lied, continue to lie. Thank God that is it New Jersey it was? The Governor Barakas of New Jersey, the mayor. He's suing Alina Habba. Ooh, I hope he wins some millions from them. I hope he does. I really do. I think those people need to be in jail. Them going after Jerry Nadler's congressional assistants and all shit like that. It's just, it's authoritarianism bullshit. Free speech. And suppose she was at a rally. I'm like, did she shoot somebody at a rally? I mean, you're trying to tell me if she was at a rally, this is what you thought, and you tried to chase somebody from a rally and they ducked into Jerry Nadler's office? None of that shit make any sense. They didn't find anybody, nor was there any rally nearby. Nadler, they need to sue for that too. What else we got for y'all today, this evening? Oh, didn't even get into Elon Musk today. Now, I found this out later, and I started researching, started looking at it before I went live. And this is what he had to say after that black-eyed, drug-addled goodbye from the White House. This is one of his tweets. He had a few tweets today. I only got like 3 of them. I don't know how many he had altogether. But this is what he had to say. Had me rolling. Let's get it. He said, Elon Musk said, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. He done had enough. He done had it up to here. I done had all I can take. I can't stand it no more. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Those are some big words for the people in office. You know you're speaking to idiots, right? All right, but anyway, shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. That shit's hitting right at the heart of Mike Johnson because he's trying to push it past. Said no little kid hit him. Nah, I don't think a little kid hit him, man. I don't believe that's just the soul at all. But that's what he had to say. It had me rolling. Uh, that he says disgusting abomination. I mean, he just left office, and now he's all in it. Now, this is I don't have any facts, but this is my personal belief about what we are seeing here. After he left office, I don't remember the guy's name because Elon Musk planted a lot of people into the White House via this Doge crap. He got rid of a lot of people who took a lot out of that did a lot for the country and took a lot of this fraud and stuff out of the country, which is protecting him and his people, right? That the other billionaires. So that's one thing. So with that happening, one of the head of he wanted to be the head of NASA, right? And he has his thing. He would be able to have a direct connection to this guy, this other billionaire, who would have been beholden more so to Elon Musk than Donald Trump. Just be honest. So they decided right after Elon Musk left to get rid of this billionaire scientist who flew up in the sky and went to Mars, well, not Mars, but in the orbit or some shit, because he's rich and just loves doing crap like that. But he's smart. Oh, he got some real ears on him, y'all. Y'all gotta see him. A man could run fast and catch flight. And so they let go of him. And this all of a sudden pops up the next day. Now, earlier, he had said, well, not early, after he did that, he had a tweet that he retweeted the same tweet, but he added a little message to it at the top. And he said, it will massively increase the already gigantic budget deficit to 2.5 trillion and burden American citizens with crushingly unsustainable debt. Now, I got a question. He's talking about he worried about the country being in debt, yet he wants a tax cut. He tried to get $2 trillion squeeze it out of the government, which he couldn't do. More like 9 point something billion. And he wasn't talking about paying off the debt or the deficit, make it, anything of that nature. No. He was talking about taking that money, putting it in a pot, and give it back to the American citizens so that we could spend it or save it. Tax cuts for the rich, because we wouldn't have got hardly anything back. But now he cares about the citizen, American citizens. He just fired American citizens like they were just like, he took them out like it was the trash to be taken out. There were wives, husbands, families that need to be taken care of, people who are probably living off their savings right now, people who had to retire early because they can't get a job anywhere else because it's kind of hard to go from a job in the government making really good money to a job outside the government, trying to find some of the people you may have worked with to give you some work. I'm sure some could find it, but many probably couldn't. And to not have anything the next day, this man talked about he gives a fuck about Americans. Give me a break. And talking about he's going to crush them with an unsustainable debt. Well, then why don't you pay your fair share, bro? If you care so much about the Americans' debt, why are rich people trying to offload a bunch of middle class or poor people to increase amount of money that our country has in its coffers, but don't want to give their fair share? That 9 billion that he just saved, I guarantee you, he owes more than $9 billion in taxes if he paid his fair share. All that we spent, some crazy amount. We spent more than 8 billion, 9 billion. It was estimated like 132, something like that, billion to try and save what we saved. And this man could have easily went after the top 1% and got way more than $8 billion if they paid their fair share in taxes. He gives a fuck about Americans. You know what he cares about? His businesses. Now he's got to try and be Mr. I care for the people, because those are the people that were buying his Teslas. The ones that give a shit about the earth. The ones who gave a shit about all this other stuff. Now, him coming out and saying this against the orange Don Juan, MAGA's not going to be buying his Teslas. And the majority of liberals have turned on him too. So you might well say bye-bye to Tesla. You're going to have to infuse money in it and make it look like it's selling and offload these cars somewhere and make it seem like it's moving. Because all that's down. But he doesn't care about the people, y'all. That right there is a complete and utter joke. Right? So that's the one thing that he had. And after that, he put out another tweet. We're going to see that one here in just a sec.
In November next year, we fire all politicians who betrayed the American.
In this tweet, he's got, and it's kind of small, pardon me. In November next year, we fire all politicians who betrayed the American people. So now he's talking about, again, using his money to fire people that we didn't tell him he was the boss of. We? Shut up, man. You American by South Africa. You don't care about the people. If you did, you wouldn't have got in there and started cutting jobs without knowing what jobs you were cutting, then costing us money because you got to reboot what you fucked up. Yeah, no, you can stay away from us on that one. But then you remember he had that interview, I think it was on CBS or something like that, and he had something to say about this whole situation before these texts.
American people.
I'm a little stuck in a bind where I'm like, well, I don't want to, speak out against the administration, but I don't want to. I also don't want to take responsibility for everything the administration is doing.
It's very disappointing.
Before we get to Sir Mike Johnson, he says that he don't want to take responsibility for what the administration is doing. Sir, you were a part of that administration. I mean, you're at this particular point, I don't think he's had this last day yet, because this came out the weekend before. You're still a part of this administration. You're the one who funded 100 and something million, or was it 200 something million? I think it was 230 something million to the nitwit that's in office to begin with. How can you say you can't support what the administration is doing when you put said administration in office by giving them a shit ton of money and access to other billionaires that sat behind him during inauguration? You and the rest of these billionaires and MAGA is the reason why America is going through the shit show it is right now. People like yourselves is the reason why we're there. We voted the right way. It's you guys who fucked it up. You own all of this. You can't run from it now. You own all of it. Because everybody told you, I know at one point when you was quote unquote liberal, your liberal friends was telling you that Donald Trump was a piece of shit. And somehow you bought Twitter, turned it into the racist part of fucking town, and then decide to tell us right now, oh, we need to, man, ain't nobody following you. Your MAGA people gonna run straight clear away from you. And you couldn't buy the last election, even though you gave people $1 million like you was like the fucking South African Oprah. You get $1 million, and you get $1 million, and you get $1 million. And they still voted 10% more for the other person. Yeah, I think that little give away $1 million shit show is over. At least for now. You know how people have short memories. But he's trying to galvanize his people now. They're going to start calling him out. I can't wait to see it. These MAGA people, they're going to start calling him all kind of names, in a minute. With him separating from them, oh, yeah. They ain't going to buy his vehicles no more. They're going to be pissed at him. Especially if Trump gets mad and tells his people to not like him. So after he says the tweet, and this was like the weekend before when he was on this interview, Mike Johnson had to give his little 2 cents in this, right? And listen what he had to say.
It's very disappointing. Okay, I've come to consider Elon a good friend, but with all due respect, my friend Elon is terribly wrong about the one big beautiful bill. We had a long conversation yesterday. He and I spoke for I think more than 20 minutes on the telephone, and I extolled all the virtues of the bill, and he seemed to understand that. We had a very friendly conversation about it, but for him to come out and pan the whole bill is to me just very disappointing, very surprising in light of the conversation I had with him yesterday.
So he's surprised after telling Elon Musk that there were certain virtues within this bill that was just, just wonderful. And he seemed to understand it. What do you got to understand when shit is simple? You're trying to twist shit into a pretzel. He's not Donald Trump. I mean, he's stupid, but he's not that stupid. And when we talk about him, again, with Elon Musk, he's smart in certain things. He's a complete dumbass in others. When it comes to politics, he's a complete idiot. He sat here and thought that he can get with Donald Trump. And again, he's a mastermind of evil like Donald Trump is. I am worried about what he did when he got into office. Donald Trump didn't know what he was doing. He got into working in that office. He didn't have to have no clearance, nothing. He was there as a special agent. Hey, look, Democrats, Republicans, when if it has to take till Democrats get in office or get into power again, get rid of that clause that you can bring somebody in for a year or so without fucking having, or 130 days or whatever. Get rid of that shit. Ixnay on that shit, quick. Because it's stupid. Why would you bring somebody in to the White House that doesn't have to have clearance, especially somebody who's given a Nazi fucking salute? I mean, good gracious. It's man, it's disappointing. It's disappointing. It's like the special ed administration here. These people all are slow. And I don't mean to slight anybody who's slow, but if I'm slow, I'm not slow. And I don't believe I should be in these positions because I don't know them well enough to be able to come in and be an asset. I got 4 years to do a job. Hell, it's going to take me 4 years to catch up on what said job is. So I admit I would be slow coming into this and I wouldn't take the job because I'm not capable to do that job. I am more effective in other areas. I'm not so arrogant to believe that every job on the planet I can do. I know my traits, I know my gifts, and I know where I can shine. I am not putting myself in the back seat when what I have to offer is front seat material. You know what I'm saying? It's gifts that are wonderful. I'm gonna offer my wonderful gifts. I'm not gonna go in some crappy position or even really powerful position, but I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm not gonna put myself in a position of being an idiot. You can be smart about, like the Scott Bessent, smart about investing, but you're in a position that's over your head right now. Every time you come out, you sound stupid, but everybody keeps saying how smart you are. How? Because you're not in a place where you can shine. You don't negotiate, bruh. You're not a people person. Go sit behind the numbers and watch them move on the screen and find your happiness again. But where you're at, you can tell you are clueless about what you're doing. This man never opens his eyes up. He's always doing this shit. I'm like, open up. It's crazy as hell. But that's what this man did. I can't believe it. Mike Johnson is trying his best to get these people to believe that this bill is going to be somewhat good for somebody. And ain't nobody that stupid. Everybody knows ain't nobody that stupid. that they have no clue what they're doing. And I look at it like this. You may be smart in another area of life, but this ain't it. You know it. I know it. This ain't it. But for some reason, you trying to make it, and you need to stop because it ain't helping none of us. It's hurting everybody. And almost everybody I know of is getting sick of it. Sick of having to always be worried about what the next person's going to say and do. Every day we're coming out here, you know, listen to what they say and trying to educate people on it. Because again, a lot of times they talk over people's heads with terminology. If you're not in politics, you don't know half of what they're talking about. Mm-mm. You don't know half of what they talk about. And then you look at, again, Mike Johnson is not qualified for the position he's in. It's not. He's trying to be a successful Speaker of the House and pass some stuff. And the thing that kills me is that they always want to compare themselves to other people. And no matter whether you like her or you hate her, Nancy Pelosi runs circles around these people in doing her job. Should she retire? I'm pretty sure she should be retired now. She ain't already left everything, but she runs circles around them. They don't know how to whip people. They don't know how to do nothing. They just sit around asking people, come on, please, please, please don't make me look stupid. And they come out and make them look stupid. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a situation now where, again, Democrats need to come up with actual plans for the people. And I really think, to be honest, for me, the only way the Democrats are going to try and win anything back is that they really have to, I would say, hold not a town hall meeting, but hold, like, I don't know if anybody here knows what a mastermind is. All right, a mastermind is a group of people. It's usually small, 4 to 6 people, but or sometimes it could be 3, but 3 to 6 people, I say. And it's usually a group of people who come together to help each other out, right? So if and usually they're in different fields. So there may be a plumber, there may be a CEO of, of a car company, a CEO of a tax company or whatever. You have your own business and something else. You're owner of a bakery, gas station, whatever. And you guys are coming together. And in that group, each week you come together, one person is telling you the problems and issues that they keep running into and ask for the group's help and advice and strategy or anything that they may be able to offer. Maybe even just to listen. But it's all about growing together. And so what I think the Democrats need to be doing is to stop splitting off into 1,500 different Democrats trying to do 1,500 different things. What we need now is unity. And we need these people to really come together and say, hey, like a think tank. Yeah, Kristen, pretty much like a think tank. But it's about putting ideas out there on how they can do things. Because we need to see that the Democrats can work together and figure shit out. Because waiting until a bill comes out of them doing shit behind the scenes and then it comes. One thing that I think that Americans want to see, at least the ones who have common sense to some degree, we're tired of 500 things in one bill. I know it's going to slow some things down, but who knows? It might pick things up because it'll be a lot easier to go through the bills, and you could probably pass 1,000 one-topic bills as opposed to passing one that has 200 in it that most people have not read. So my point is Democrats, simplify this shit. Unify around this shit. get the majority of Americans to understand where you stand, right? Become an American before you become a Democrat. Talk about American issues. Talk about how to solve them. And if people ask you what would the Republicans think about this, you'd be like, I would hope they would think the same about American citizens. You want opportunities to build a better life. What is the American dream to you? I mean, quit talking in generals for everybody. Quit coming to us with somebody, oh, well, I spoke to somebody in Texas. They said this. I spoke to somebody who said this. Start inviting Americans into these meetings so that they can be able to see what's going on. Make it, take some time or something on air or whatever it may be, wherever you got to go, streaming, whatever, so that people can offer ideas, right? And you guys can listen and take those ideas and be able to say, okay, this is what we came up with. What do you Americans think about that? We have got to come to some kind of like senses that just throwing things in people's faces and expecting them to accept it is just not the right way to do things anymore. We need to get the people who have common sense and the people who have issues in their communities and can actually explain them intelligently, can say, oh, we need these things and these things and these things. Even if you can't speak to every, American citizen, start up something where you can have rooms where people in their community can sign up to Democrat District 17. We're having meetings every other day, and be on some kind of server and do that, whether it be Discord, whether it be Zoom. I mean, come up with some new age shit. Quit just always just every once in a while come and speaking to the people. Speak to the people and don't act like you got too much work to do. You got what's her name? Joni Ernst. She had time in her day to go find some random cemetery so she can clown people in her own constituency. If she gave a damn about them, she could actually have a meeting and be telling them, what is it that you want? Instead of me dictating to you what we're going to do, tell me what you want. See, the difference between right now, Republicans don't give a fuck what their people want. And you got all the evidence to prove it. You got Joni Ernst literally telling you going to die, so what the fuck? You got other people saying no, whatever, to their actual. You got all that footage of all these Republicans at their town hall being flippant with their constituents, saying I don't give a fuck about you. And Democrats have not taken it on right now to literally bring these people together and say, look, come to something dot whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk about it. We only can put 100,000 people on, whatever. Or we're going to have one every week where we have 75 people for the next 75 days or 150 days, whatever. And you have people there listening, taking notes, understanding what's going on. This is the only way we're going to be able to get not everybody on board, but to get enough people that share with enough people so that we can grow some kind of unity and tell the people what we want and need. The connection to the people is what you need, because they are disconnected from the people. They tell people what they want to hear, the hatred and we're going to give you money back, and these people get excited. But they don't tell you that that's going to cost a crap ton of money in the end. You took $300, you took $3,000, our deficit shot up $4 trillion. Is that what you want? Your kids saddled with $4 extra trillions of dollars that they got to pay for somehow long after we're dead, just because you took $300 or $3,000 from the government in a tax cut? No. Because who's going to pay for our debt? The reason why China has so much power now is because we borrowed so much money that's added to our deficit and to our debt that they own us, even though we act like we own them. You see how they aren't responding to Trump? Because they don't have to. they can pull their $700 something billion worth of debt that we owe them. It'll have our economy crashing like hell. And if they get into a real tight-knit connection with Japan, who owns $1.1 trillion of our deficit, both of them can pull out and our economy fucking crashes. They have us by the testicles. And you got these overconfident, idiot-ass president and other people in power hide behind this white nationalist BS when they have no power. We would have power if we had the surplus that Clinton gave us. We would have power if we had stayed on that same surplus game that he did, that same strategy. That was something that Republicans and Democrats came up with, working together. Wow. Had that kept going for another 10 years or so, 15 years, we'd be out of debt. Our debt would be gone. It would be 32 trillion or whatever it is in climate. It would have been zero. They figured it out, and they figured out a way to fuck it up. And that was tax cuts. Promote that, Democrats. Let the world know that the last time our budget was balanced and a surplus, it was a Democrat. The only time our budget has been better in this country is under a Democrat. Republicans fuck it up. Democrats fix it up. Point blank, period. You got to make it work. You got to promote. It's up to you, Democrats. I'm going to do the best I can to keep telling everybody, Republicans fuck it up, Democrats fix it up. Are the Democrats perfect? No. But it's up to us to make them better than what they actually are. And that's for the American people to put pressure on the Democrats to get even better than they have been. And the way we do that is get connected to them. How do you think Elon Musk got Donald Trump to do whatever he wanted to do? Elon Musk put money behind it. Tell these Democrats we ain't putting a damn cent behind you until you answer the people. Stop giving them money until they literally go your direction. Otherwise, they just got to rely on the Democrat leadership and the billionaires. And they'll survive for a little bit off of that, but not for long, because you need the people to vote for you. So we need to put some pressure on them and change the world as it goes, as it gets better and better for us. But keep in mind, if you talk to people, let them know Democrats fix it up, Republicans fuck it up. Democrats are the only ones that balanced the budget and had a surplus. Republicans have not. Republicans have tripled our debt in Reagan in 1980 after we're given so many tax cuts. He tripled our debt, right? Donald Trump in his first term increased our deficit $2 trillion because he gave a $1.9 trillion tax cut that wasn't paid for. None of their tax cuts have been paid for, by the way. That's why our debt keeps climbing. That's why China owns us, our bonds, which is our debt, and Japan. Horrible business people. Horrible government people. I mean, they rob Peter to pay Paul, and then they forget that they owe Peter. And then they come up with laws and try to say, we don't no longer have to pay Peter anything. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is our Social Security program. In that scenario, they robbed our Social Security program and kept doing it with a bunch of IOUs to now they don't want to pay it back. They're paying the interest on it, but they're trying to come up with bills to say, we don't owe it back. And the crazy part is they're paying it back via your tax dollars. They took it to play with it, lost it, and then want you to pay back what they took out, which they should have never touched. It seems like there's something crooked in that. And there is, but they create the bills and the laws and the rules. Therefore, they cover themselves and they have a certain type of immunity in that process. It's crazy, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's how this country runs, has always ran, and only America is going to be able to shut that down. If we don't shut it down, it ain't going to never fix itself. Trust and believe. So we have to figure out ways in which we can make it a better world for us. Again, that's Partners. This Saturday we'll be talking about it on Zoom. I will put out a Zoom link. I'm trying to put out this next Zoom link is going to be like the Zoom link, like for good for the members. I'll just keep the same one, and we'll just keep going and going and going. But I don't think I have the last one in the system, so I'll create this next one for every 2 Saturdays or so, like that. From this Saturday, every other Saturday from that. And yeah, we'll keep on doing it and having these meetings, talking about what Partners is all about. For those who are new, the members and so forth will be a part of our project Infinity, our Discord. I don't know if anybody's actually went to the Discord. The last I checked was a couple of days or so, maybe ago, and nobody was there. So I don't know if it's a problem getting access to it, but just let me know. So we're going to be working on ways to make things better, solutions, and implementing them. And hopefully they'll grow so that the American people who really give a damn about America and Americans, more so than just America itself, that we can change it the way we see it. And it's not about leaving anybody out. It's about each person saying, what is it that you need? In your community, what do you need? Personally, what you need? What are you looking for? And what do you need to be held accountable? You know what I'm saying? We all want fraud to go away in certain areas. But here's the thing. When you look at fraud, like they said there was fraud in Medicaid or in the government in different departments, stuff like that. I mean, you need a forensic accountant. I mean, why don't we just go through legitimate things to do? You know, get a outside party, a third party that can come in and do forensic accounting and give them access to one department at a time. And again, they have to have clearance and all this other stuff like that, and go through one department at a time and find this stuff. I don't care if it takes a year or 2 years to do. Who cares? If you want to get rid of it, that's how you do it. And if you want to implement plans or strategies that will keep that intact so that you have red alerts or alarms to let you know when something hasn't been approved. Like right now, we have a system. But if you want to improve it, then don't come in and just kill everything. Figure it out first, then do it. And be consistent so that no Republican, no Democrat, no president, no nobody can stop it. Just put it in the laws that these things happen every so many years, and this is the organization that we hired to do it, and they get to do it for so many years. Then you can hire somebody else to do it for the following years, whatever it may be, to give a fair opportunity for people to do it. But a regime coming in and killing it, a regime coming in and bringing it back, that doesn't help. Keep auditing the books so that we know where the fraud is. Keep some of the same companies, but switch out every once in a while so that the company doesn't get, comfortable and create fraud as well. But it allows us to be able to have a system. These things is what Elon Musk could have been doing. Being the science or tech guru that he is and hiring all these smart people, they could have been doing this. But no, they were taking data, trying to figure out how they can make money off of our data or manipulate us. I don't know what they were trying to do with it. Still don't. Now they got another company, Planetary or whatever, housing data from us. It's insane. And those are the things that we as people need to talk about, and we'll talk about in the meetings. That'll be on a Saturday, this coming Saturday, around 12 p.m. Pacific. Oh, is it 12? I think 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I think I have it set up for, yeah. So I'll put that link into the community. And Project Infinity is the link should be in for the Discord is in the actual community area in which you'll see notes and stuff like that that'll tell you where that Discord is. Click on that and go and try. And I may have to approve you to get in, but still, we'll do that as well. And so that's what we'll have, being able to build a better America for us and be able to listen to one another, because people have great ideas. And I think we need to work on those things. And you know, there are going to be some we take and some we don't. But the reality is that we're trying our best to make a better place for us all. And each community needs these things. We need things taken care of our community. And if our communities are paying taxes and into the system, then we should be able to help that community out. There's more than enough to go around, and there's a way to pay for it. But they choose division because that's how none of them are held responsible for the crap they do. They just do it and be like, oops, and move on. Well, it's time Americans hold them accountable so that they do right by us first. And then make a decision from there. You know, like we can make the decisions. Instead of billionaires being empowered, the people should be. Our vote should matter more than just elections. Should matter throughout each day that we're going through. We should be able to notify our people. With technology the way it is today, we should be able to notify them a lot quicker than just making a phone call and leaving a message. But those are things that we work on, trying to get better and making America a better place to live, and a place where we get back to, or at least get to, the American dream being a reality, whatever that is for you. But the main part that I believe it is, what leads to it is you being able to have a job or a career and having to do that job, that position, have that career to do whatever it is, and that should be able to sustain you. You shouldn't be working 15 jobs just so you can pay your bills and be able to go on vacation. It should be one. And Americans have to figure that out, because rich people are doing their damnedest to push us out. It's time we push them out. We push them away and we take over the people, not the billionaires. That's the way I see it. But anyway, that's about all I got for y'all today. I always enjoy y'all. Let me give love to my people who come in here every night, pretty much. And these are my subscribers who are here. Love y'all. And my members as well. Love that you guys are here. I still haven't found out. I think that the crowns are about being #1 in the community and things of that nature. But Swift Returns, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Rude, Interplanet Janet. I saw Kristen in the house. Thompson, appreciate you. Sister Soul, welcome. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody being in the house. See if I can take down this real quick. There we go. Take this down. That's all right. Who else is in the house? I saw DJ was in the house earlier. What's up? Appreciate you. Other people in the community. See what's up. What's up, Troy? Who else? I think that's the members that we have in here right now. If I didn't say anything, Demetrius, what's going on, Demetrius? You still in the house? I saw you, Georgia girl. How you doing? And I think that's it. If I didn't say anything to you, sorry. Thanks for joining, Sister Soul. I see you woke, Mike. I don't know if Mark was in here, but I haven't gotten to the top yet. But we will have our meeting this Saturday. Hopefully some of you guys will make it. If not, it's cool. You're very welcome, Troy. Appreciate you. I see you, Vera. I appreciate every last one of y'all getting more information out there as much as we can. Understanding like how we can make it better for ourselves. First starts with learning about how bad it is for us. We must talk about the problems in order to be able to try and solve them. And I'm thankful that you're here to be a part of that process. I call myself an avid solutionist, and people who are around me, we're always creating solutions for each other, whether it be just prayers or actually creating actual solutions. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it. Thank you, Ruth and the Planet Janet. Much love to you back. See you, Sister Soul. Take care. I'm about to get up out of here. Much love to y'all. Y'all have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow around 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. You know how I do. I always tell you, when I see you, I see you.